Welcome back, fam. I'm Dave Banter, and these right here, this is the Sony XM6. But before we dive into the headphones, we have to talk about the case. So here's the case for the Sony XM6, and yes, it is smaller than the previous version, the XM5's case. And the reason for that is because these headphones actually fold up rather nicely, and it saves room. So therefore, you have your little cables over here that you have to really fold them to get them in there. And as you can see here, it is a magnet style opening and closing case, which a lot of people like. There's also a strap if you want to hold it that way. About the magnet closing and opening case. So with the magnet cases, y'all see that? Y'all see how I can just open it up from the bottom there? I could do it on the top as well. That's the problem with the magnet cases. They're not as secure as the zipper cases. I'm really big on protecting your stuff. Protect the stuff that you buy, right? I would like for them to put maybe, I don't know, another magnet right here and on the side to make it more secure. If you want to protect your case, speaking of protection, I recommend this. This is Creep Protect. What it does is you're supposed to spray it on shoes, but me, I sprayed it on my XM6 case here, and now my case is waterproof. That's right, or liquid proof. So you got a friend, they spill coffee all over your case, water, rain, whatever, it's going to repel that liquid. This is well worth it. I'm gonna put a link in the description below so you can pick this up for your own case. You're paying over $400 for this. Protect your stuff. And let's talk about the Sony XM6. So these hinges here were breaking on people in the past, and they're like, all right, let's make them a little better. So there is some metal type aluminum material that they're using on the hinges. So they fixed that. So these shouldn't be breaking on you like the previous version hinges were breaking. Now, something else to keep in mind. Let me show y'all. These ear pads have been getting a lot of talk from a lot of people. Some people are saying they're too thin. I feel like they're kind of right in the middle. They're not too thin, they're not too thick. They are comfortable though. So I had no problems with comfort. Now, I do live in South Texas and we get a lot of triple digit heat. So my ears did sweat a little bit in here. By the way, these are not IPX rated or sweat resistant or anything like that. That's a bummer, I know, but I had to tell y'all. Now, you can remove these ear pads. However, Sony doesn't sell any replacements at this time. So we're gonna have to keep our eye on Sony and see if they're going to release replacement ear pads in the future. As of right now, not just yet. Something else people have been talking about is this little area right in here where it clamps over your head. I haven't had any problems with that. It feels pretty good. All right, fam, so I gotta let y'all know, with the PS5, I know you're hoping like, oh, I got my XM6 and I'm gonna connect them via Bluetooth to the PS5. Can you do that? Well, you can, but you are gonna need a Bluetooth adapter. If you try to directly connect these to the PS5, you're gonna be out of luck, okay? So you want that wireless going on, you're gonna have to get the adapter, okay? And just to show y'all, they do fold in. Like I said earlier, I know I mentioned it with the case, but as you can see, they definitely fold in. They're very, very flexible. So if you're very concerned about the folding and all that good stuff, look at that. All the things you couldn't do in the previous version, right? It's just magical. Now, one of the bigger issues that I've heard a lot of people kind of complain about is the USB-C audio, or lack thereof. USB-C audio. I do wish they had that feature. So you get that 3.5 port on the bottom there, and a lot of people weren't too happy about that. Here's the thing. I look at both sides of the coin. If you're using the 3.5, there's a lot of versatility there. So older devices, tablets with a 3.5 port. Also, if you are a DJ and you just happen to be using these while you're DJing, 3.5 port all day long, depending on what flight, if you're a traveler and they have a 3.5 port, so you can watch your entertainment on the back of the other person's chair, Sony got you covered with all of that. Now, y'all see that? Y'all see that USB-C port there? When you're charging these, fam, Yes, you can use these while you're charging them. Just know this, when you do that, you can only charge them up to 80%, not 100, okay? So some people are under the misconception of, oh, I can charge them up to 100% as I listen to music. It tells you right there on the app that it's only up to 80%. I don't really think that's a bad thing. I think it's cool. You need that extra 20%, just go ahead and charge them the other way. Speaking of charging, battery life, it says up to 30 hours. I haven't had any issues using these. Quick overview though, you have the nice soft cushion up here. It's all soft. Of course, this is where it extends and it's actually rather quiet. The labels for left and right are in the inside there. Of course, it swivels. You're gonna have your microphones on the side there, get it a little close for you. USB-C for charging there. And you have your big giant power button next to your 3.5 port microphone. And you have your ANC button right there. I didn't want to leave that out. Very nice design. I'm definitely feeling it. Now the app for the XM6, I feel like it's just chock full of features. I mean, there's just features everywhere. You can do this, you can do that. I would like for them to, I don't know, get a better layout of the app. You know, just lay it out a little differently. I think JBL does a good job of app layout. They probably have the best app layout, in my opinion, for just about most products. I would like for Sony to kind of change the look of the app a bit. Yes, you can navigate through there. There's a lot of little things in there that you can do with these headphones. Yeah, I would love to see a little bit more a refreshed style app. People want the ability to repair their headphones. People are starting to look at it differently and say, wait a minute, if I'm gonna pay over $400, I should be able to repair some of the things on the headphones, like the battery and stuff like that. As of right now, you can't do any of that. The big question that everybody always loves to ask about these headphones, is it worth the price? These headphones are, for who they're marketed towards, yes, okay. They're marketed towards people who are very willing to spend $400 or way more if they have to. They just want to feel like they're getting something in return. And I think Sony did a good job of making people feel and believe that they got a lot in return, especially from the previous version. Or if you already own the previous version, should you make the switch? And here's what I'm gonna tell you. In most cases, you don't need to make the switch. Now, if your XM5s are just worn out completely, falling apart, maybe you got tape on the hinges, then by all means, upgrade. But is that enough for you to switch? Is that enough to make you say, yes, I feel like spending this amount of money on these headphones because it's gonna give me this? These ain't going nowhere, fam. They're gonna be out for a while, and eventually that price will decrease a bit. And that's gonna be a good time to hop on these. Do they sound good? Yes. Are they the best sounding headphones I've ever listened to? No, but they're good. Now for the people who were like me, who never owned any of the XM products ever, is it worth it for you? I feel like if you wanna make the jump, this would be probably the one to do it. This is the one to make that jump to. And with that said, fam, I like my XM6 headphones. I still use a lot of my budget headphones because sometimes I don't want to walk outside with $400 headphones on my head. I want to walk outside with $100 headphones on my head. And if something happens to them, I'm not too worried about them. But y'all got to let me know in the comments below. I just wanted to really hit the bullet points of these headphones. This is not a complete specs and how they performed at night and versus the daytime type review, okay? I wanted to hit bullet points and I hit all the bullet points I wanted. If y'all have any questions, hit me up in the comments below. I'm Dave Banter. These are the XM6 by Sony. Until next time, we out, fam.